Well, BASF really is, their company slogan is what I think material science is. We don't make the thing, we make it better. So, you want to know what we do as material scientists. We don't make desks, we don't make lights, we don't make computer displays, we make them work better. So, for example, we might come up with brighter blues and brighter greens and brighter reds for the computer display. We might come up with whole new technologies that are, for example, an emissive display instead of an absorptive display. This is a liquid crystal display and it absorbs light, which means that the black isn't very black. So, for example, material scientists might work on organic electronic light emitting devices that would produce a better dynamic range, the kind of thing that shows up in your cell phone these days. If you have a Samsung cell phone, that's the kind of thing we do. My definition of an electronic material is pretty much something that has exceptionally high purity and exceptionally high performance in an electronic device. And it can range everywhere from trans-polyacetylene, polyphenylene, vinylene that's used in organic light emitters, to silicon and gallium arsenide that are used for microelectronics, to strontium titanate that's used for some dielectric materials, to copper indium diselenide, my favorite material that's used for solar cells. Within a technology for solar cells, for example, silicon is the classic material. It's what everybody thinks of as a solar cell. Simple material, but really a great solar cell material. But you range over the whole spectrum. You can go all the way from silicon to more complex ceramics like copper indium diselenide, to copper oxide, some of the other oxides. You can look at functionalized buckyballs are being used in organic photovoltaics and so forth. So it's a very broad area. What makes electronic materials exciting? Well, I think it's really a great opportunity to study materials with practical applications. I'm a solar cell guy. I really feel that energy is going to be a huge issue for the country and the world in coming years. And so I'm really happy to be working on a new energy technology that I see as possibly leading to providing energy for everybody. I personally like working on it because having visited some remote parts of the world where, for example, electric power is called D cells, and where energy is called crank it with your hands, crank it with your feet. If we can provide energy at the intensity level that we have in the United States, that will be completely transformative for those cultures. And you can argue whether or not they want to be transformed, but it is a way of improving quality of life. It's a necessary feature, and it impacts the poorest people in the world most dramatically. It's funny, actually, I talked to an exchange student from Togo one time, and I said, in a remote village in Togo, if you had electricity, what's the first thing people would want? Because we're talking about remote villages. And she said, they'd want the internet. Forget clean water, forget refrigeration. We know how to live without air conditioning, without refrigeration, without clean water. We've done so for thousands of years. But it would be cool to be able to watch weird American television programs over the internet. So it's funny what people want. But the impact can be completely traumatic, completely transformative. Cell phones in small fishing villages are another example. It's top department. It's great. The faculty are amazing. The students are amazing. I just every day some student will walk into my office and blow my socks off. It's just unbelievable how good our good students are and how great our facilities are. I went to an Ivy League school as an undergrad, and the horsepower that a Big Ten school has for research, for building a career is amazing. In engineering and technology, we beat them hands down. Well, I work on solar cells. I like doing solar cells because of the fact that it impacts the poorest people of the world most dramatically. It also has the potential to provide all of the energy that the world needs using a relatively small amount of land area. If you look at the efficiency, conversion efficiency of biomass, if you look at the available hydropower resources and so forth, they simply can't meet the world's energy needs. Wind and solar photovoltaics, concentrating solar, that sort of thing, those are the only technologies that have the potential to generate the kind of energy that we need for the world. So I'm happy to be working on it for that reason. And I do basic science. I get to poke around at atoms. I wanted the job I have at the moment since I was about 5 years old, actually. And I'm totally shocked that I'm where I am. I'm a tenured full professor at a top-ranked department. Never would have believed that would happen. Totally amazed that it did. Happy to be here. I like interacting with students. I've been teaching the senior electronic materials classes for a long time because I was one of the first electronic materials faculty members hired here. And so I basically developed the electronic materials courses a long time ago, along with a couple of the other people here. I'm still teaching one of them. I wrote a book to go along with it, which now I can say, you want to know what I'm teaching in my class? Here's the book. That's what I cover. But I'm doing the junior lab this year, and that's fun. It's totally different from the normal classroom teaching, and I like that. I like interacting with the students. I've taught introductory courses. I've taught MATSE 101. I've taught MATSE 201. I've taught MATSE for the aeronautical engineers all over campus. I've taught different types of things. I like the senior graduate level courses where we can talk at a fairly high level, but the freshmen are interesting too, and more of a challenge. By the time they're seniors, you've kind of figured, okay, they've decided they like this.